Hello and welcome to the Irish Aesthete. Previously I've been talking about the arrival of the Franciscan order in Ireland, probably sometime in the 1230s, and how quickly it spread throughout the country. Often the friars would be offered lands and funds by a local leader. This was the case at Kilcrea, County Cork, although there may have been an earlier religious settlement here, since the name Kilcrea derives from Kilcrea, meaning the cell of Ciara, an early Christian saint who supposedly established a convent in the vicinity. But the Franciscan Friars arrived here in 1465 at the invitation of Cormac Laidir Mór, Lord of Muskerry, who had built a castle close by. From the top of this castle you have a view directly across to the friary. Almost 30 years after bringing the friars here, Cormac Laidir Mór would be buried inside the church after he'd been murdered by his brother and nephew. Dedicated to St. Bridget, the friary thrived, as can be seen by its extensive remains. The church contains a great four-storied tower rising at the point where the nave is separated from the chancel. Seemingly a magnificent rood cross embellished with gold and silver hung from the tower in the church. This was destroyed in 1584 when the building was plundered by English troops. What are known as the claustral buildings, the domestic ranges where the friars would have lived when not in church, are unusually well preserved at Kilcrea, with the remains of a chapter room, refectory and dormitories. The other striking feature of the site is how it is filled with graves, some of them going back to the 17th century. This is a very common feature in Ireland. Although the religious houses were closed down from the 1540s onwards on the instructions of Henry VIII following the dissolution of the monasteries, local people maintained a close association with these old sites and particularly wished to be buried inside them. As a result, it's very rare to find the remains of an old religious house not still in use as a burial ground. In a history of this area published in 1777, it's recorded that at Kilcrea there were high banks formed entirely of human bones and skulls cemented together with moss, and besides great numbers thrown about, there are several thousands piled up in the arches, windows, etc. Well, the piles of bones have long since been tidied away, but the countless graves remain, including one which, despite its modest appearance, is worth seeking out. This commemorates Arthur Leary, an 18th century soldier who, having fought with the Hungarian Hussars, returned to Ireland. Back here, he became involved in a dispute with a neighbour, Abraham Morris, after refusing to sell his horse to Morris for £5, as Roman Catholics were obliged to do under the penal laws of the time. O'Leary was then declared an outlaw and had to go into hiding, but he was discovered by Morris and a band of men who shot him dead in 1773. This is his simple grave, which bears an inscription believed to have been composed by his widow. Lo, Arthur Leary, generous, handsome, brave, slain in his bloom, lies in this humble grave. And there he remains in a setting the tranquility of which belies his tumultuous death. Thank you so much for watching The Irish Aesthete. And in the next episode, I want to visit one last Franciscan friary, which was associated with a rather wonderful country house now sadly gone. I look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye.